Kenobi right now. And that was then a terrible take for me. Hi, I'm Kumail Nanjiani. Esquire has asked me to watch myself. I hate watching myself. But sometimes I learn stuff from watching myself only because I find it a little instructive.
I'm Haja Estri, Jedi.
The gorgeous Ewan McGregor. I was really excited to work with Ewan because I've been such a fan of his forever, and of course I love Star Wars. As soon as we started shooting this scene, he started talking like Obi-Wan, and I had this moment in the scene where like, oh, I'm talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. And that was then a terrible take for me. It was just like really, really, really fun. And he just made it so easy, you know? When I get to do something that I really love, I have to pretend like it's something else, otherwise I'd get too scared. But when you're talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's very hard to convince yourself you're not doing Star Wars.
Why are there no math teachers at Hogwarts?
Yeah, so this was for the John Oliver stand-up show on Comedy Central. Big fan of John Oliver's, of course, and I had a period in my life when I was doing stand-up and all of my stand-up was just about TV shows I liked and movies I liked and books I'd read. And then I did this joke and, you know, I always thought it was really funny, and then at one point someone was like, it's a summer school. The rest of the year is when they're doing math and all the other stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess that joke doesn't fully make logical sense anymore. Next time I see John, I'm gonna apologize to him.
You're like Neo.
What's a Neo?
It's from the Matrix. Everything he does is awesome.
Yeah, so I got to do the show, Veep, second season of Veep, and I had an audition with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I didn't know she was gonna be there. They were just like, we have an audition for Veep. And I was like, oh my God, I love that show. And I walk in and Julia Louis-Dreyfus was sitting there. And I sit in front of her and we improvise and we do this thing. And then I get a call later that afternoon that I have the part. And I remember how nice and kind and funny she was. And if I improvised something, she liked it. She'd be like, say that again on the next time. I'll set you up for it. Just so generous. I remember I shot this. I was really nervous to do it. I did it. It was really fun. And then I was taking a plane back home, and she was on the flight with me. I didn't know her that well, just from this, you know, and the rehearsals and stuff. And she was like, you're a gas. And I was like, wow, thank you. That meant so much to me.
Julia already knows what it's like to get by clowns.
I can't believe I did that. That was a photo shoot she did. That's her like having sex with a clown. And I was very touched when she got the Mark Twain Award. She asked me to like do a little speech for it. This was sort of payback for when I shot Veep. You know, they improvise a lot on the show, and there's at one point on the show when she gets angry at me. She's like, you take your eyebrows and you get out. And I laughed so hard that I ruined the take. I was like, oh, you made fun of my eyebrows on stage. I'm gonna make fun of you a clown.
You wearing a gold chain?
Yeah, I've had it for a while. I just kind of throw it on every now and then.
So this is Silicon Valley, obviously. You know, I got to do the show for 6 years. Absolutely wonderful experience, changed my life. And I told them that in high school, I saved up money and I bought like a silver chain. I couldn't afford gold. I bought like a thin silver chain showing that I'm cool. And as soon as I wore it to school, I realized immediately I had made a huge mistake. And then they wrote like 100 good jokes making fun of my chain. People are always like, hey Dinesh, where's your gold chain?
Thanks so much for coming.
So Meltdown, Emily and I had just moved to LA and we became friends with Jonah Ray, who's still a very good friend of mine. And he used to run a show in the back of a comic book store, Meltdown Comics. The store is gone now. I didn't know what I was doing with stand-up. I wasn't established in LA as a stand-up. And he was like, let's join forces and do it weekly. So we started doing this show and we did this show for 6 years. And then we got to do like a version of it for Comedy Central that, you know, we did 3 seasons of that. And on my birthday, I was doing a set. I'm gonna try and not get emotional while telling the story. And I got off stage and I went in the backstage and Robin Williams was there. And you know, I grew up watching Robin Williams. I love him so much. The reason I started doing comedy, because Robin Williams is so funny. Do you wanna like pop on stage and do a quick set? He's like, oh no. And I was like, are you sure? And before I could finish sure, his hat and his coat were off and he was like, just 2 minutes. Robin Williams goes on stage and he like improvises 20 minutes and it's so funny. And then he came back a few weeks later, did it again. Again, it was magical. Hard to top that memory.
None of us can have nice things.
I thought you guys were mannequins!
So I am a big fan of Community and became friends with Dan Harmon. and then he had me come on and do like a small part in an episode. It was really, really fun. I got to do a little bit with Nathan Fillion. We were both like sort of custodians at the school. And then years later, Dan was like, I want to bring your character back and now have him be like the mastermind bad guy. And I got to go and do that. And I got to play like a really evil guy on one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So to be a part of a Paintball episode of Community, really, really magical.
Put 4 slices of cheese on the burger!
Kumail has just gotten a very bad piece of news. We needed a scene of comedy that also fit the emotional space we were in. I'm an emotional eater. That version of Kumail would also be an emotional eater. And it just felt like the perfect intersection of someone trying to express frustration at the wrong thing. I actually said, shoot this at night on a Friday because I'm going to lose my voice. And I did. I lost my voice for 2 days, but I think the scene really worked because it's funny, but it's coming from a very real, emotional, tragic place. So this, Chloe wanted to do this scene and she really wanted to pay sort of homage to the really, really colorful Bollywood dance numbers. This is where you really see Kingo's personality for the first time. I wanted Kingo to be a superhero who loves being a superhero. And also that he genuinely loves his life. He loves everything about his life. He loves being a movie star. He loves being a superhero. It was really, really fun.
Ugly walk, there you go. And I'm gonna go cool. Perfect.
So, Murderville is such a fun show. I just finished Obi-Wan. And then they called me and they were like, there's a show called Murderville. It's scripted except you. You don't have the script. You show up and you improvise. And you have no idea what's going on. And they really stick to that. I didn't talk to Will Arnett as Will Arnett until we wrapped. We shot for 2 days. I'm laughing working at this scene. They literally like keep you in a separate room, then they yell action and you walk into the scene and you have no idea what the story is, who any of these characters are. Will Arnett is so funny, and I always knew he was really funny. I was a big fan of his, but doing this show, I realized just how quick he is. So in this scene, I was like, I just want him to laugh. I'm so proud that I get him to break here. You can see that he puts his hand over his face. With preparation, learning lines, you get stressed out. Here you can't do that. There's no pressure. You just have to go, be in the moment, and react to one of the funniest people you know.
I'm afraid I cannot accept. That was my dream when I got here.
So welcome to Chippendales. My God, I got to play Steve Banerjee. I've never gotten to play a character like this. He's a guy who comes from absolutely nothing and builds an empire. And then a lot of shady stuff happens. People don't know, but the real story of Chippendales is very sordid. A lot of surprising stuff happens. It's a true crime story because a lot of true crimes happen in it. There's lightness, there's fun, there's excitement. It looks beautiful. The cast is absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of this show, just to be a part of it, getting to work with these people. You can watch Welcome to Chippendales on Hulu starting November 22nd.